15 races on the schedule in 2012, and 4 of those coming your way on road courses. A new record for this series, and the drivers have taken their position on the racetrack. And Phil, let's look at our starting lineup. Great qualifying effort by Greg Pursley.
Yeah, as Bernadette said, new track record for Greg Pursley. His teammate, Kwasniewski, though, right there beside him.
Cup star Gilliland will roll off 7th. Austin Cameron back in the field. Good to see Jim Englebright back racing on the road courses.
Yeah, and former champion Eric Norris is going to make his first start in a while. He starts from the 12th spot.
When we come to the road courses, there's always going to be a few drivers in the field that's the only time you see them throughout the year, and we've got 4 or 5 of those.
How about Herschel McGriff? 31-time winner in this series, and he's 85 years old.
He's got more stats on road courses than you can imagine. Green flag is out, we're underway, and there goes Pursley with a really good jump.
A little bit different look for Pursley's car, all yellow. Normally we see that Star Nursery car blue.
Well, the good news is the 17 is orange, so I'll be able to notice who David Mayhew is.
Sometimes it's black.
These guys start coming up through the first couple of turns here, Phil, and this is where you really notice the elevation change at this track. 160 feet of change from the high to the low point on this racetrack.
Yeah, go way, way uphill now. There's a couple of really good passing zones at this racetrack, and this is certainly one of them right here. Kwasniewski not close enough to make any move on Pursley that time. That's turn 7 right there. Down to about 40 miles an hour in that corner. A lot of the guys will go to first gear right there.
You know, at this point of the season last year, Phil, Greg Pursley had dominated this division. 6 wins, I think, by the time we got through this racetrack. And, you know, I just look back at it this year, and I'm wondering, overall, do you think he's satisfied with the way that team's coming together and the way they're getting things on track now at this point of the year?
Oh, without a doubt. They're really strong. They won their most recent race. The last 5 races, his worst finish is 4th. He's not been out of the top 10 yet this year.
I think I'll take those kind of stats if I'm a Greg Pursley. These guys roll through the hairpin. That's a tough part of the course. A lot of times we see beating and banging down there in that corner, and I'm sure it'll be no different today.
See, Michael Self, he was our most recent road course winner. Michael's in the 21 car. He won the inaugural event at Brainerd, Minnesota.
How about we go road course racing and then back to Evergreen? That's always a toughie. Colorado National, then another combo event at Iowa. I love the schedule here in the K&N West Series.
Yeah, you have to be pretty versatile all the way to the 1-mile oval at Phoenix, now down to the bull rings like at Las Vegas.
Saw the 6 car, Derek Thorne, rolling through there. He's also a winner this season. He got a win at Lake Havasu. So got that monkey off his back and feeling like that team's in competition to go out and win more races this season. Also, Pursley gets it off the track a little bit. Little wheel hop there coming through the S.
There's a 90. That's another car out of the Bill McAnally stables. That's Chris Evans in that 90.
I do have to consult my entry list every once in a while when we come to these races, for sure, to know there's a few drivers in there not totally familiar to all the fans who know the K&N Pro Series West. Johnny Borneman, the 3rd, looks like he has come to a complete stop.
Yeah, that's going to bring out a caution. That's very unusual. That's Brett Thompson's car that Johnny Borneman's driving. Had a pretty good qualifying effort, qualified up in the top 10. Going to be an early exit.
And we'll see if we can get you an update on Johnny Borneman after these messages. Gene Price Motorsports with a pretty good season so far. Pursley 2 wins. We're ready to go back to racing action. And Phil, I just got a note from the NASCAR Tower. They're saying a clutch went bad on Johnny Borneman's race car. That's really hard to believe this early in the competition, just 5 laps in.
Yeah, tough break for Borneman. We have some side-by-side racing. See Michael Self, the 21, and the 6 of Derek Thorne. That's a side-by-side battle for 5th.
Can they make it through this corner? They're side-by-side still, and looks like Self might get the position, but after you go left, then right, then left again, who knows?
Yeah, that's a good passing zone right there. Gilliland's going to take advantage of Thorne being to the outside. I'm not sure he's going to be able to make it work this time. Now he is going to try to get there at turn 7. He does. He's got position on him, but Thorne drives it hard into the corner, but goes wide.
There is so much room down in that corner. You can go out way 15 feet away from that other car.
And again, that's one of the slowest parts of the racetrack, about 40 miles an hour.
You know, they made a change to this racetrack a few years ago. It used to be about a half mile longer. Did you have any preference on one layout or the other?
Well, I like the original layout that had the carousel, but I think what the track officials try to do is create another really good passing zone. So that's why we have a short chute from turn 4 now to turn 7. That creates a great passing zone, just like here in turn number 11.
A lot of guys able to get right up on the bumper when they go through that turn, but then a few other are able to spread it out. And looks like Dave Smith a little bit slow on the racetrack there in that Sonoma Harvest car.
Yeah, not sure he's under power. You see another different look for the 20 of Eric Holmes. That car is obviously normally Napa blue, and now it's white.
There is Thorne, and he has now dropped back about 6 car lengths. Mayhew comes up over the top, and a lot of normal competitors right here, guys that we have seen right up in the top of the championship points, and of course we see them out front of the races most of the time.
Yeah, right now Gilliland has moved up to the 6th spot. You know that full-time Cup competitor is going to be very competitive. This is where he cut his teeth back in this series. 3-time winner in the K&N Pro Series West.
You know what's funny to think about Gilliland a little bit as we see a few of these cars are going in. Are they going to start? They can't do their pit stops this early, can they?
No, I think this is a little bit early. You see some damage on Kyle Heckman's car, the 19. He's got together with somebody. Most of the guys say around 20, 25 laps before you can get in your pit window. Some guys will come maybe a little bit earlier, count on some caution flags to get that fuel mileage.
And we saw Dave Smith ahead of Heckman there, but again, both of those cars apparently experiencing some sort of trouble because it's too early in the fuel window to head to the pits here for sure. Good battle right here.
07 Daniel Graff in that battle.
And now we go back to the front here, Phil, and I'm interested to think about what it's like to be Dylan Kwasniewski because he has such little road course racing experience, especially in this particular kind of car. Do you suppose he's just going to sit there and say, I'm going to follow Greg Pursley and learn a little bit of something? Because Pursley's been so good on this type of racetrack.
Yeah, that's not a bad guy to follow, but we heard Pursley say how long he's been trying to win this race. He's only had one top 5 finish, and that was last year. He finished 4th, so he would love to get a win. I was talking to a lot of the guys in the garage here, and they said how much they would love to win. This is one of their key races of the year, and how much they would love to get a win. You see, great battle. Eric Holmes is another one of those guys that hasn't got to victory lane here. He's all over the back of David Mayhew.
You got to keep in mind, 22 times this series has been there, have been at this track, and then prior to that, they had some combo events with the Sprint Cup Series too. So a lot of drivers, especially Herschel McGriff, as you mentioned earlier, have been here a lot of times trying hard to win it.
Yeah, and Herschel does have 3 wins here, so he's got those in his back pocket.
Add on to that 142 laps led and an additional 3 poles. So McGriff with a lot of great experience on this track.
Good battle right here for the 3rd spot. Mayhew the 17, Holmes in the 20, Michael Self in the 21.
Kind of speed differential are we talking about down there when you get into that corner? I mean, these guys are what, going 65?
About 35 miles an hour
Oh.
at the slowest point in that corner, then up to about 140 just past the start-finish line.
It's a lot of shifting, a lot of work for the guys. Side by side right here. Here goes Engelbright. Engelbright, who's been very, very good on the road courses over the years. He's got Federated Auto Parts sponsorship on that bright yellow number 1, and he's side by side. This is awesome racing there.
Yeah, Austin Cameron in the 12 car, and he's another former champion in the series, a 15-time winner. Looks like he's going to get the advantage over Engelbright. You know, Engelbright hasn't won here in the West Series, but I think he won 3 Southwest Tour races in a row here.
I know I had seen him in victory lane here a number of times, and he's going to give up the spot to Cameron, but then he's going to dive it in and brake hard.
Yeah, great move by Jim Engelbright. Always very, very competitive. Whenever he runs this series, again, first start of the year for him.
Remember the Jelly Belly sponsorship on his car for years, and ran some Camping World Truck Series racing with that sponsorship too. So good to see Jim and Valerie out here.
Great to see Austin Cameron too. This is Austin's 2nd start of the year. He's got a top 5 finish. He finished 5th back at Tooele, Utah in one of the other road course races.
4 road course races on this schedule this year, Phil, and I know it's a daunting challenge for some of these young drivers who are trying to chase down a championship, Kwasniewski included. You look at Gomez, some of these other guys, you just realize that adding 4 road course races takes 4 chances away from them to win if some of these other guys with experience go steal the victories.
But I don't know if we can say that or not. We've got Kwasniewski, who's finished 4th and 2nd in the 2 road courses this year, so these guys are catching on so quick, I don't think we can rule them out.
Scott Ivey right here, 41 years old, an infrequent competitor.
He finished 6th at Utah. That's his best career finish here in the West Series.
Rolling back up towards the start-finish line is this group right here. Again, Greg Pursley out front. Kwasniewski is his teammate. He is following him close behind. We see, as you look at your running order there, David Gilliland hasn't moved up nearly as much as I had expected him to.
Yeah, the 51 of Carlos Vieira moves way to the outside. That's Jessica Brunelli in the 88 car. There's the 52 right there. That's Ryan Philpott. Good, strong battle right here. There's Chris Evans in the 90.
This group right here, you could throw a blanket over. I mean, they have been like that pretty much since the start of the race. And that's one of the things that's so fun about this kind of competition. You get a couple that are running out front, you get a group that's racing side by side back here in the middle of the pack. Welcome back to Wine Country. We are underway. Greg Pursley has led every lap here in the Pick and Pull Racing to Stop Hunger 200. His teammate, Dylan Kwasniewski, been pretty much tied right to him.
Yeah, we've completed 17 laps now. You might want to keep an eye on some of these guys. They may start pitting here pretty soon. Again, this is a hair early, but they're going to rely on maybe some caution laps to try to get in their window. Gilliland has gotten by Eric Holmes to take over the 4th spot.
Now let me ask you this. If you're crew chiefing right now and you're watching Kwasniewski, do you do what the leader does or do you try to do something different?
Well, I think it's whatever it takes to get in your window. You would love, ideally, to make a pit stop and then the caution comes out, and some of the other competitors hadn't pitted yet. They would pit under the caution, and then you would have the track position, as we watched David Mayhew, who won that race at Phoenix earlier this year in dominating fashion.
I'll tell you what, he is throwing that race car around. I just saw him coming through the S up there, and he had that thing up, and here we go. Here's a battle for position. Gilliland going to try to get to the inside. He goes, and look at how he used that curb fill. That is mastery.
Yeah, David Mayhew realized that he was there. No sense fighting him back right now. Again, we're only 18 laps into this race. Long way to go here. 64 laps at this racetrack is a long way to go.
It can be up to 63, and you still feel like you got a long way to go. Carlos Vieira off the racetrack here, and he's going to get her spun back in the right direction. 51 car back on track.
Yeah, we had a local caution, but we're going to stay green. We'll see if we can see what happened to Vieira here in just a moment.
Looks like he does have a little bit of damage there. May have tapped the wall once he got off the race course.
Yeah, or maybe been a little contact. As let's take a look right at what happened to Vieira. There he is. He's completely all by himself right there. Just slides off the racetrack. Does a nice job keeping that car out of the outside wall.
Little damage to that right front fender there, so I'm sure the crew will want to take a look at that when it comes to the first round of pit stops.
It looks like that tire is going to clear here, so I think he should be okay to stay on the racetrack here until he gets in his pit window or the caution comes out.
5150 Energy, the sponsorship there, and here we go back to the lead. It's about 3 car lengths is the difference for Pursley. Kwasniewski staying right with him, hasn't been able to shake him at all.
Yeah, and these guys have driven away from the 3rd place cars right now, currently being held by David Gilliland, so these guys have setting a pretty torrid pace here.
Pursley with that different look in 26. He's your leader. Royal Purple on the 03. These two guys are teammates, and the way they've been racing throughout the course of this year, it's pretty amazing. And Smith trying to get back to the pit area. I'm not sure he's under power at all. You know, he has come to a complete stop.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen him coasting around the racetrack, but he's definitely stalled right at the entrance to pit road. There's Dylan Hutchinson. He's also stalled on the racetrack. More than likely that we'll have to bring a caution out. There it is. You see it in the flag stand. It will be a full course yellow.
I was pretty sure the yellow was going to come out with that car sitting over in pit entry, but apparently Dylan Hutchison with some problems too. Pursley has been out front for all 19 laps. Can they pit here, Phil, or is it too early?
I think they're very close to the early side of their window here. I think some of the guys will gamble and come in now.
Over the years, there's been some great racing. Derek Parnasiglio joins us now for this week's Racing Rewind.
This week's Racing Rewind is the 1984 Winston-Sonoma 200 from the Sonoma Raceway. The 04 of Herschel McGriff took the pole with the new track record and led the first 14 laps. He was then overtaken by Jim Bound in the 98. Another battle fans were watching was the fight for the point lead. Going into this race, 15 points separated Derek Cope in the 7 and Jim Robinson in the 78. Robinson got a break starting from 3rd, while Cope battled with the 73 of Bill Schmidt, eventually finishing 8th. Caution flew on lap 38, bringing everyone in for final pit stops. Rick McRae inherited the lead, but Jim Bound would take it back 5 laps later. Herschel McGriff would fall back to 7th with engine problems, but it was Jim Bound dominating the day, leading 50 of the 70 laps. He was followed across the line by Jim Robinson and Rick McCrae.
You know, Phil, I gotta buy one of those old cars. That is just such a classic look. Hey, look, pit stops are underway.
Top 2 cars stay on the racetrack, Pursley and Kwasniewski. David Gilliland pits from 3rd along with Eric Holmes, Derek Thorne. There's Austin Dine, Jim Engelbright, Stan Silver Jr. A bunch of the field came in. Top 2 cars stayed out.
So we're gonna have some differing pit strategy for sure. Those front 2 racers that decide to stay out, they feel it's too early. These guys going with fuel. No tires at all on the pit stop.
Yeah, there's David Gilliland. Now he will lead the field off pit road.
So Gilliland will be the first out, then goes Thorne, then we see Austin Dine right behind. And this race is about 1/3 of the way the distance. We'll be back after this. So our front 2 runners have laid the bed down a little bit. They decided to stay on the racetrack, not go to the pits. That's Greg Pursley and Dylan Kwasniewski. Their teammates, green flag is back out. Mayhew coming on a charge there, but Phil, I'm just wondering, was it too early to pit, or you think they're in the window?
I think these guys have a pretty good idea of their fuel mileage, so I think they can probably make it from here. Some of the other guys maybe didn't feel quite as confident about getting there, and they're going to wait a little bit now. I think we'll probably get a couple 3 green flag laps in, and then they'll come to pit road. Hope that the caution comes out after that for track position.
Look at this group right here. I mean, there is some side-by-side racing, and that includes the number 9. We see also David Gilliland running up through there. These guys, they're trying to get back to the front in a hurry.
Saw Austin Cameron get the left sides off in the dirt there in the 12 car. There's Eric Holmes, the 20. The 6 of Derek Thorne. There's Engelbright in the 1 car. Gilliland right behind him.
I hope they're not pushing it too hard too early here, but I know they wanted to get back through that traffic and try to get to the front. Gilliland was coming right through the middle of 2 and 3 wide racing.
See, Derek Thorne makes the move around the 52 car. That's Ryan Philpott. Derek Thorne grabs another spot.
Thorne got a 14th at Vegas, and I know they were a little disappointed at Tooele, Utah, but other than that, a very good season.
Ray Dylan Kwasniewski in the 03 has given up his 3rd spot to make his way to pit road. You see him bottom of the screen right there.
So Kwasniewski goes to the pits, but that leaves Pursley out, and we had already seen David Mayhew move up to 2nd, so here, I guess they answered my question. Do something different than what the leader does.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Pursley in pretty soon, as well as Mayhew. I think now most of these guys should be fairly comfortable that they're in their window to make their pit stop and not have to come back in.
88 sideways coming off of the corner, and Austin Dine right up behind. Here goes Engelbright. He rolls up through there. David Gill. Oh, that's fun to watch. Jessica is having a ball out there today.
Yeah, Austin Dine's going to make the move to the inside, going to get around Jessica, and he jumps up over the curb.
A little wheel hopping going on all around this racetrack today. Car making a charge on the inside of Brunelli.
That's Austin Cameron in the 12 car. Nice move by Austin.
I remember those years, Phil, there where Austin was just, he was on a roll, had 7 or 8 races in a row. I think he won 5 of them, and then he had to go away for health issues, and it was certainly a heartbreak for all of us to see that particular season get halted for Austin Cameron.
As we watch Derek Thorne, Greg Pursley, our leader, has made his way to pit road. He will come in here for a splash of gas on lap number 24. That gives the lead to David Mayhew.
And that certainly answers our question of how much longer would Pursley be willing to stay out after his teammate had pitted. Kwasniewski came just 1 lap ago. Well, we do have a new leader. That's the number 17. David Mayhew is out front. Let's go down to pit area and hear from Bernadette.
All right, guys, that 17 car of David Mayhew. What an impressive driver all series long. You know, you hear the term double duty and you think drivers in the late model to the K&N series. You don't normally hear double duty when drivers are going from the West Series to the Cup Series. It'll be David Mayhew's 2nd time in the Cup Series. He qualified well. What an impressive driver. Look for that guy in the future.
All top 10s this season, Phil, and I assume that's why you gave him the shot to run in the Cup race here this weekend.
Yeah, our regular driver Michael McDowell is driving at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin in the Nationwide Series, but I've watched David Mayhew for a number of years now, and I saw him jump in Kevin Harvick's truck last year at Texas and finished 3rd, and at Iowa finished 3rd. He's a great race car driver, and we're really fortunate to have somebody like him be able to drive our car.
And I'm sure he feels the same way about getting the opportunity. There's Engelbright again in the federated car. A little bit of a different look than what we're used to for Jim, but that's pretty cool with the bright yellow on the side there.
Yeah, Gilliland's been able to get by Englebright. We saw Gilliland right behind him a little bit earlier.
A few more cars go into the pit area here, so we will cycle through this pit stop. See 2 cars on the pit road right now.
Just wonder how long Mayhew will stay on the racetrack. The worst thing that could happen right now for David Mayhew is for the caution flag to come out, because then you would have to come in under caution and have to fall in at the tail of the field. Right now, he would love to make his pit stop and then the caution flag come out, and then he would have better track position than the guys that haven't pitted yet.
Do you think they should call him in this time by?
Well, they know what their fuel mileage is. They've already got a plan, I'm sure.
All right, David Mayhew, a winner earlier this year at Phoenix, leads the field. Full Racing to Stop Hunger 200 is underway. David Mayhew out in front of the field. I'm Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons. Glad to have you with us. Bernadette Santacola is down covering the pit area. And Mayhew, will he go to the pits this time?
He is going to come to pits. Yeah, he said that's enough. We're almost halfway. We're definitely in our fuel window. Let me get here to pit road as quick as I can. Just get a little splash of fuel.
And if this thing were to stay green, Phil, from here on out, really it just ends up cycling back through like a washing machine, right?
Yeah, well, some of the guys that pitted under the caution flag and felt like they could make it from there, then they would have had the advantage, because all the rest of these guys that pitted under green and lost some of that track position.
Took them longer to get through the pit area, for sure. Ron's rear ends on the back of that race car. Some new sponsorship for David Mayhew this week, and a different look for the number 20. There's Eric Holmes, normally has the bright blue and yellow on there. Still got Napa's, got the battery package with him this weekend.
Yeah, he will inherit the lead due to Mayhew's pit stop.
You know, Holmes's numbers have not been that bad this year, but there just has not been one of those races yet where we say he's in position to win. Maybe today's the day.
He had a couple second place finishes in a row earlier this year, but we know that this car will get to victory lane, and he can do it on any type of racetrack. He could certainly do it here on a road course, as well as any of the short tracks or Phoenix, anywhere.
Just about halfway here as we see lap 32 completed. I guess that's right on the button of halfway.
Yeah, we need to make a mention that Bill McAnally, that owns this 20 car for Eric Holmes, was inducted into the West Coast Hall of Fame earlier this week, along with David Gilliland's father, Butch.
And by the way, Butch, a 2-time winner here at this racetrack. Guess who his crew chief was back then?
David Gilliland.
Okay, good answer. Here's Michael Self. Self, one of those guys that's got a lot of road course racing experience, got a win earlier this season. I would say if you asked anybody in the garage, they'd say he's a twisty road specialist.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of experience in go-karts and Formula V cars and things like that. But this is where David Mayhew shook out after he made his green flag pit stop.
Here's a car that's already been to the pits. That's Cameron Haley. And how about age 15 from Calgary, Alberta? This team had a 22nd place run at Phoenix, but other than that, been very, very impressive. Let's get an update on Team 24.
Guys, the 24 car of Cameron Haley, I talked to him earlier today, and he said, you know, he's really nervous coming to a track like Sonoma. The twists and the turns are so different from what he's used to. This series has been a lot of adjustments for him, but today it's all about fuel strategy. And here at Sonoma, they can't change the tires, only fuel and tires that are damaged. So the strategy is really important to the team. It adds one more thing that Cameron Haley and his team have to worry about. But at 15 years old, he's still doing very well.
Phil, how about the age gap between our youngest and oldest driver? Herschel McGriff, 84, Cameron Haley's 15.
That's about 3 generations.
Oh, how about Eric Holmes? 5 consecutive top 5 races right here at the Sonoma racetrack will today be the first win for Bill McAnally's race car. Come back, we'll find out more. Welcome back to Sonoma. Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons and Bernadette Santacola. We're watching the K&M Pro Series West Division, and at this point we move forward in our broadcast. When we went to break, we saw the number 20 car of Eric Holmes was the leader, but Phil, he began to fade quickly as we went to commercial.
Yeah, he certainly did. David Gilliland has been able to get by him and drive away from him. Obviously, problems for the 20 of Eric Holmes.
And it wasn't just little problems, Phil. This is the look. Here goes the number 20, and it looks like it is completely up in smoke. That car is going to be done for the day.
Yeah, and it certainly brought out our most recent caution flag, caution number 3.
So Holmes goes up in smoke and he gets off the racetrack. We'll head to the garage. So 2 consecutive disappointing finishes for team number 20. Bernadette had a chance to catch up with Eric Holmes.
Here with Eric Holmes, who just got out of the car. Eric, this was so important for you at Sonoma. I know you wanted it so bad for the 50th win for McAnally. What happened?
I don't know, just something in the valve train of the motor. I'm not sure. I was just riding, cruising. I was making sure David was staying the same distance. Kind of looked like I was going to go caution free. So trying to save gas and trying to save the tires in case we got a caution at the end. And man, the Napa batteries, Napa Auto Parts, Toyota was awesome today. I mean, Pursley and the 03 are probably a little faster, but we had a game plan and we stuck to it. And then I think we could have won the thing, and just really disappointed. I've been trying a long time to win this and almost had it.
Another disappointing day for sure for the number 20 team. We've had 3 different leaders so far today here at Sonoma.
Yeah, this caution flag is going to bunch the field up. That's going to allow Pursley and Mayhew and all those guys that pitted under green to have the track position back.
This is always exciting, Phil. They get the green here and they start coming up that hill. These guys side by side. There could be some beating and bumping. We'll watch it.
Getting down to it now. Every position here may mean the finishing position at the end of the race.
There goes Engelbright. He's got the inside, trying to get up there beside Thorne. He goes around Austin Dine. They might be 3 wide there coming through the top of the hill.
Saw Mayhew out in front of Pursley there on this restart. You see Mayhew back in about the 4th spot, then Austin Dine, and then Pursley.
There's Kwasniewski in the 03. He's behind his teammate, and here comes Michael Self. He's going to dive down to the inside. Can he get the brakes on? No, I thought that he was pushing it a bit hard there. The 03 will keep the position.
Yeah, nice move. There's a nice move by Engelbright. They make contact. You see the contact with the 6 of Derek Thorne. Engelbright has the spot.
I think Thorne was going to try to repay him right there, but he got it up on the curb and wasn't able to make that reverse contact.
Meanwhile, all that battling back there has given a pretty nice lead to Gilliland.
Gilliland out front. Here are the 2 cars that look very strong at the beginning of the race. Pursley on the pole. His teammate Kwasniewski trying to run it hard up there, coming off of the curb, and we've got John Wood has gone around in the number 36 car.
We'll see if he can get it refired and get off the racetrack. Because of this restart, cars are a long way away. You see a little bit of smoke coming from under the hood. That car may be on fire.
Yeah, he's got the window net down, Phil. He's going to try to jump out of there. He's not restarting that one.
I'm not sure if the caution flag is going to come out. I'm sure the track official said there's no way that we can get out there and push him back in.
Did you know, Phil, by the way, that the berms at this racetrack are painted blue and gold in honor of Steve Page, who went to California, Berkeley?
I did not know that.
Okay, now you know something. 12 laps to go. We'll be back with the finish after this. Race schedule, but 4 of those on road courses, and we're about to go back to green here. You see Derek Thorne down to the inside, David Gilliland on the outside, and he gets the jump.
Yeah, nice jump by David Gilliland. This was maybe the most important restart if we stay green the rest of the way. With 7 laps to go, Engelbright tries to stick his nose inside of Derek Thorne. He has a fender alongside.
There's Pursley and his teammate. The 03, Kwasniewski, was right up beside him. Pursley gets the position.
Mayhew on the inside of Austin Dine. That's a battle for the 4th spot, side by side.
A lot of good action here every time we go back to a restart, and they go down to this corner. Heavy braking corner, and up over the berm they go. I'm surprised more cars don't hit that wall right there, too. Those guys do a great job.
Austin Dine emerged with that spot in front of Mayhew. You see Mayhew now and Pursley side by side for a moment. There's Austin Cameron. He got in between Pursley and Kwasniewski.
These guys are putting it down now with just 7 laps to go. They know the time is up. Jim Engelbright with a great run today, right up there in the front throughout most of the day in that federated car.
How impressive is that Austin Dine been? He's never finished out of the top 10 in his West Series career this year.
That's some good numbers, and here goes Mayhew. Mayhew's going to look down to the inside. Watch out for those barrels.
Looks like Mayhew has the position there. There's Pursley right behind Mayhew.
Austin Cameron coming too. He's trying to have a good battle with Kwasniewski. These 2 cars side by side.
Austin Dine able to get that spot back from Mayhew.
Looked like he came up through the gears just perfectly there, Phil.
He's really doing a super job. You see him, a very defensive line. That's going to open up the bottom for Mayhew.
Now remember, Pursley and his teammate Kwasniewski on a little bit different pit strategy than these guys that are at the front of the field. They pitted a little bit later.
I think now that we've had all these caution flag laps, Ray, I think everyone's going to be okay on fuel.
So if we take that fuel out of the question, that means go for it. And those guys will be soon getting that. Push the button and give it all you got every single lap signal if they haven't done it already.
See Pursley all over the back of Mayhew. There's Kwasniewski right behind Pursley. He's been able to get by Austin Cameron to get back in touch with his teammate.
Pursley pretty much with all top fives this year, except for Havasu, where he finished 10th. That's why he's right there in this points championship. Different look for Pursley today, but same kind of look with a fast race car as we've seen each and every week. And here he goes. He's going to have a braking chance to get to the inside of the 17, and there's contact. Pursley goes up to the 17 of Mayhew, and he spins.
He just tried to outbrake him getting down in turn number 11. Didn't quite get there, didn't have the position. He couldn't get it woed and made contact with Mayhew. You see the damage to that right rear quarter, and around David went. Tough break for David.
A little bit of smoke coming off that 17-2 here. Englebright hard on the brakes there too. Pursley gets up on the curb maybe a little bit. That may have contributed to it, but Mayhew does go around. No caution there. Mayhew able to continue, but definitely contact.
Yeah, I think Pursley got in the corner so hard he finally saw a little bit of smoke right before that initial contact, but unfortunately for David Mayhew, it's going to take him out of a top 5 spot.
Pick and Pull, the sponsor of our race today. The Drive Den Hunger 200 and Pick and Pull on the hood of David Gilliland.
Around goes Austin Dine.
What happened there?
Looked like he was completely by himself. Let's see if he can get that car refired. He does get it refired.
Nobody in danger of hitting him right there. Dine will get back going, but he's going to lose 6 or 7 spots on the racetrack.
Yeah, had a great run going. He was running up in the 4th spot. It looked like he was by himself from my vantage point. Derek Thorne now is closing in on David Gilliland just a little bit, and here comes Englebright.
You know this would be a big win for Gilliland. He's talked to us over and over about how much this racetrack means to him, having come from California, having his dad have a couple of wins here, David with 1 victory. But my question to you, Phil, is how much has his Cup experience paid off at this particular racetrack? Because he's driving these big, heavy cars. He's been around here a lot more laps than some of these other guys.
Ray, there's no substitute for laps on a racetrack, especially a technical racetrack like we talked about here at Sonoma.
Gilliland the leader. Derek Thorne now back about 6 car lengths. They come down heavy braking through this corner. Wondering if Thorne is saying to himself, there's a certain part of this racetrack where I really want to set him up.
Well, the problem is he doesn't make very many mistakes. He really doesn't have a weakness. David Gilliland has a lot of experience on a road course. His best career finish in a Cup car came on a road course. He had a 2nd place run, so he's not going to make very many mistakes. Derek Thorne's going to have to do all he can do to try to gain on him. Right now, that guy right there, Jim Englebright, he doesn't make very many mistakes on a road course as well.
I guess I should point out that Thorne has to catch him first before he can pass him. But Gilliland, and Thorne off the course just a little bit. Left rear goes off down there at the rumble strips. Here comes some heavy braking from Englebright, and Pursley is right there.
Yeah, you knew these guys are giving all they have here. We're coming down to 3 laps to go.
Where'd Kwasniewski go? He was right in the thick of this thing. He's now dropped back a little bit.
Yeah, he's running in the 5th spot behind his teammate Pursley, but he's lost touch with him. He's about 10-15 car lengths back. Remember, these guys, as we see Chris Evans gets turned around there, gets refired and going again. Remember, these guys have had to run this entire race on the same set of tires, Ray.
You can follow Evans on Twitter. Looked like he was coming out of the stocks of a drag strip there when he got him lit back up.
Nice burnout. There is a drag strip here. It's on the other end.
Maybe he's just practicing. Here's Gilliland. The car differential is about 4 car lengths. Derek Thorne in the Sunrise Ford number 6 right behind. And we've got a battle for 3rd developing, Phil.
Yeah, Pursley is all over the back of Englebright. He would love to get that spot and see if he can do something with Derek Thorne and David Gilliland. He knows he's running out of time here with about 2.5 laps to go.
This is a battle for 3rd, and every point so important throughout the course of the season. Pursley, if he were able to get around Englebright, that gives him a point pad over his teammate, assuming that is that Kwasniewski finishes where he's running.
Yeah, exactly. That would mean 2 points, as you mentioned.
Oh, look at this one. Man, is he on the brakes this time?
He got it in there. He got it in to the inside of Englebright. He has position. Englebright hard on the throttle off the corner, though.
You take so much risk by that, using that much brake diving in there. You slow that car down so much, but Pursley's going to take advantage at the kink. He'll come by the start-finish line with the 3rd place.
Yeah, what a great power move by Greg Pursley. As you mentioned, he was hard on the brakes getting down in turn number 11. He stayed off of Englebright, but then powered around him on the outside.
How many times you got to shift here?
It varies for different drivers. It depends on whether you use first gear or not. Some people use first gear in turn 7, some people in 7 and 11, but probably 8 or 10 times anyway.
It looked to me like Pursley may have shifted 8 times in that one corner.
And with both feet on the brakes,
right,
too.
yeah, slamming it in there. Here's Derek Thorne. He's
Ooh.
sideways again.
You can't give up that much time. You saw him try to get on the throttle, got a little bit sideways, and that allows Gilliland to squirt out in front of him just a little bit.
When we look at the numbers here, Phil, there are a number of drivers, 3 guys who have won 3 times here, but David Gilliland would love to add his name to the 2-time winner list, which would be right beside his dad, Butch Gilliland, who scored back-to-back wins in 96 and 97.
Right now coming down for the white flag as soon as he negotiates turn number 11 here. There's a great battle. You see 5 cars in this battle. There's David Mayhew right in the middle of it.
You know the other driver on that 2-time win list?
Nope.
Jason Bowles.
Jason Bowles.
Yeah.
Another great road racer, former champion here in the series.
Bowles got wins. They were back-to-back in 2008 and 9, I believe. Final lap here, David Gilliland coming around. He's got the race sponsor on his hood. Derek Thorne hoping to make up some time, but it may be all David Gilliland's race. He just got to keep it on the track this lap.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it on the track. Don't miss any gears. Don't wheel hop. But he knows what he's doing. He's got a nice, comfortable lead right now of about 10, 12 car lengths.
Wow, boy, he came off of that corner in a hurry. Derek Thorne with about, I don't know, what do you call it, 6 car lengths back from the leader?
Yeah, he closes up a little bit on braking, but then when Gilliland gets on the throttle, he squirts back out ahead a little bit.
David Gilliland from California, so much history at this racetrack. He said over and over it means a lot to him. Number 1, because he helped get his dad to victory lane here a pair of different times, and it looks like he may be on his way to his 2nd win right here at Sonoma on this twisty race course. Here he comes down the corner. All he's got to do is make it through the hairpin.
Yeah, one more time through turn number 11. He's got it.
No pressure from Thorne. Here comes David Gilliland in the number 25. Whoa, I shouldn't have said that too quick. Thorne right up to his bumper, but David Gilliland will pick up his 2nd win right here at Sonoma, California.
Great effort by Gilliland, but a nice job by Derek Thorne to get a runner-up spot. Pursley recovers for 3rd, and Englebright with a top 5 in his first start this year.
And that will put Pursley's teammate Kwasniewski back to 5th place, and one valuable point right there in the middle was Englebright's.
Nice job by David Gilliland. Had great strategy, pitted on that caution flag. Some people thought it might have been a little bit too early. He stretched the fuel to the end.
The pick and pull racing to stop hunger 200's complete. David Gilliland's the winner. We'll hear from him when we come back. Now with 48 career starts, David Gilliland has gotten 4 wins, 2 of those coming right here at Sonoma. Let's go to victory lane with Bernadette and hear from him.
The pick and pull 200 here at Raceway Sonoma once again goes to David Gilliland. David, you won here in 2007 as a qualifying fastest lap. Now, again, you kept your streak alive as one of the only drivers in the field to win this race. How great does that feel?
It feels really good. You know, my dad's here. Oh, getting emotional. My dad's here from Dubai, and he got inducted into the West Coast Hall of Fame, and it's exciting, man. He won here twice. Now I've won here twice, and it's really special, man. This feels good to win again. I haven't won in a long time. It's been too long, but got to thank Tom Clower and Mike Nake for giving me the opportunity to come out and run. Pick and pull, we got pick and pull in the car. Mike Nake was my crew chief when I ran out here and won a bunch of races out here on the West Coast. So most important thing is my dad's here from Dubai, so it's pretty cool. I wish my wife and kids were here. They were here last time. We got a 3-generation picture with my dad, my son, and me in Victory Lane, but wish they were here. I miss them, and I love them.
Having your dad a part of this, having the West Coast Hall of Fame, like you said, how amazing. Can you get any better than this?
No, it's pretty cool. You know, this is an awesome racetrack. I love it. I've come here as a crew chief. I've come here as a tire changer for my dad, and we've won races like that. And now, like I said, for my dad to be here and win this thing is pretty cool.
All right, congratulations. We'll let you celebrate with your team.
So David Gilliland the win. Derek Thorne comes home with a great 2nd place, but what sticks out to me, Pursley gaining a few points on his teammate there by finishing 2 spots ahead.
And also led the most laps, so that's another 2 points. He'll gain 4 points today on his teammate.
So as we look down through the field, you'll see where your favorite drivers are. Herschel McGriff finishing in the top 20. And how about Jack Sellers, 27th today in his 260th start? Let's hear from second place.
Finishing here in second place at Sonoma, a guy that told me he was nervous before the race, thought the car was better than you, and now here you are in second.
Absolutely. These guys at the shop, you know, you got to give credibility to the people around you. I'm not exactly a road course racer. I'm getting better, I feel, but I still have a lot to learn to be running up front. And it was good today to have that finish. I think the car was always underneath me. This is a brand new prepared car by Sunrise Ford, and all the guys in the shop did a really good job on it. And I just had a great time, and I got to be behind some really good drivers there and kind of follow them, learn some of their techniques. Earlier in the race, these tires are, you know, it's really hard to equalize a tire wear throughout an entire race, especially when guys are pulling away from me. But you got to be disciplined, try not to spin the tires, don't make any mistakes, don't go off course. And, you know, that stuff's going through your mind every corner, trying to grab the right gear and not wheel hop it. And it was a lot of fun. Congratulations to David Gilliland. I just can't thank the Sunrise Ford, Lucas Oil, Ibach Spring Ford for such a great performance, and looking forward to the next race.
Good run there for sure. And as we look at our points here, Greg Pursley going to gain 4, Phil. Derek Thorne up just a couple of points, but the big loser today has got to be Eric Holmes.
Yeah, unfortunately, Eric Holmes with that engine failure would drop 64 points behind now in the 5th spot.
So much fun to watch that battle up front. We've got a lot of racing coming your way. Our next K&M Pro action will be the East Series in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. But today, the wine goes to David Gilliland, who gets career win number 4 in the K&M Pro Series West. Next racing action for the West Series, we head off to Evergreen. We're going short track racing.
Kwasniewski is going to try to keep that point lead, become the youngest ever champion in NASCAR.
So Kwasniewski, with 8 consecutive top 5s, leads the points. For Phil Parsons and Bernadette Santacola, I'm Ray Dunlap saying see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.